With the Angels busy, of course, the Dodgers have to be busy as well. And they agree on a one-year, $10 million deal with Dan Harren. Harren signed a similar deal last year with the Washington Nationals. Had a really rough first half, but pitched a lot better from July on, a 3.29 ERA from July 1st to the end of the season. And the Dodgers, they have some question marks at the back end of the rotation. Was this a wise move, just the one-year deal here for Dan Harren?
Love it. I think this is a great move. You talk about a guy who's he's been very good in the past. He doesn't have to come in there and be the guy. I mean, fourth starter at best is all they need. When you talk about Kershaw, Greinke, Ryu, 1, 2, 3, they need fourth and fifth starter. Now they'll have at least 6 guys in camp. What I really like about it, again, he doesn't have to be an 8-inning pitcher either. He was so good in the second half after he got through that little bit of an injury situation that he had. Good offense, good bullpen. He can be a 7-inning pitcher, 6 or 7-inning pitcher, and do very well for you. So I like this in that regard. I think this was a very smart move by the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're known for being able to throw a little bit extra money out there, but I think this was actually one of their smarter moves.
And you know what was good about him, or interesting about him? He seemed to be healthy, like you're talking about. That first half was really not what he's capable of doing, and he questioned a lot of things, but he made the adjustment. ERA was 2 points less, 2 runs less in the second half, but it looked like he figured out command of his sinker, but he also went to his four-seamer a little bit, so guys weren't just dialed in on that sinker down, and they're getting used to it. He changed the eye level, went with the slider, of course, and he had a really good changeup. He had an excellent feel for the changeup in that second half. So I think all of those things considered, if you're looking at it, from a GM perspective on the free agent market, if you can get this guy in a one-year deal, which is what they did, what the Dodgers did, he goes to the National League West, he keeps the ball down in the strike zone. Now maybe he gets that multi-year deal that he's looking for. It eluded him last year because he didn't pitch well in the American League. It eluded him this year because he didn't pitch well in the first half. But I think Harren, at least when you look at that rotation back end of the Dodgers, he has a chance to be one of those guys that maybe gets that multi-year deal at the end of next year.
Exactly. He's not being asked to be a number 1 there in L.A. He's a number 5 starter for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it would appear that will be an offense that could score some runs for him, give him some wins. But let's take a look at how the Dodgers rotation stands right now. Obviously, you have the big guy at the top in Clayton Kershaw. You have a Zach Greinke in number 2. So you mentioned Ryu. And then there are some question marks with Chad Billingsley and Josh Beckett, both of them coming off of injuries in 2013. So at the very least, it gives them some extra insurance in case either Beckett or Billingsley isn't going to be 100% right away.
And remember last year, going into spring training, I think they had 8 starters, right? They had Capuano, they had Harang, and Lily was there. And Ned Colletti's like, I'm not trading any of these guys because we need the depth, and they needed it, and they needed more pitching on top of it. They needed guys from their minor leagues. So, and of course, this doesn't even include the potential for the Japanese pitcher Tanaka, who may be, we don't even know, he may be available through the posting system, but they certainly have plenty of options there. Billingsley the big question mark there. Beckett a little bit. Obviously, you're expecting him to figure things out. He's battled some injuries the last couple of seasons, but it's not a horrible road. In fact, the top 2 or 3 guys actually are very, very good. And then, we'll see from there if they can get Harren back on track. That's a pretty solid 4. And Beckett, I think, if he can come back somewhere near where he has been over the past 2 seasons and pitch to maybe a mid-4 ERA, there's a lot of teams that would love to have Josh Beckett as a 4th or 5th starter. Same thing with Harren.